Good morning, everyone. We are the Marco Polo & Co., the consulting team led by Harry Marco Polo. Today, we're presenting a transparent investment strategy designed specifically for CalPERS, otherwise known as the California Public Employees Retirement System, which is currently facing a major deficient funding and is searching for a good strategy to stabilize long-term performances. Marco Polo & Co. specializes in technical financial analysis, transparent strategy design, and risk-focused portfolio solutions for institutional clients. Our work on this project centered on separating the legitimate theoretical idea behind Madoff's split strike conversion from the fraudulent way that Madoff executed it. By using real S&P 500 data, volatility adjustments, and disciplined modeling, we rebuild the strategy the way it should have been done, and design a version that is safe, robust, and is actually realistic for CalPERS. My name is Alejandro Valera Torres.
This is Ricky's slides. Bernie Madoff ran one of the biggest Ponzi schemes in history. He claimed he used a strategy called split strike conversion, which sounded technical and safe, but most of the trades were fake. Instead of investing money, he used new investors' funds to pay older investors. For years, this created the illusion of steady growth. When the scheme collapsed in 2008, investors lost over $17 billion, impacting families, charities, and institutions. Madoff received a 150-year sentence, and the case revealed major failures in financial oversight. The biggest lesson here is that the complexity can hide risk when there is no transparency. On the left, you see the reported returns compared to the actual returns, replicated returns with respect to the volatility smile, which they don't seem to match at all. On the right, the color strategy he claims to use. In theory, this limits risk, but still produces volatility. He would never see flat, consistent gains like this in real trading. Investment priorities. These lessons are critical for investors like CalPERS. First, demand transparency. No black box strategies. Second, focus on risk management, not just returns. Third, maintain fiduciary responsibility through ethics, audits, and accountability. Takeaway simple. Trust alone is not a strategy. Verification is.
Hello, my name is Edgar Ramirez, and I'll be going over the next 3 slides with you. On the left is a covered call. Here we own the index and systematically sell call options on it with the goal to earn extra option premiums on top of the regular equity returns. In the middle is our split strike 7-10% caller. In this strategy, we still own the index, but we sell a call at about 7% out of the money and buy a put at about 10% of the money. And lastly is the iron condor. Here we don't own the index directly, but instead we sell both out of the money call spreads and out of the money put spreads, and we collect the option premiums to keep them as long as prices stay within a range. Here we have our cumulative returns over the 4 strategies, including the S&P. If we invested $10,000 from January of 91 to October of 08. And what we really want to highlight here is the fact that our covered call strategy produces the best returns at the end of the investment cycle. Here we have our covered call investment cycle, but also a scatter plot that shows tight upward facing relationship between the S&P 500 returns and the covered call strategy, indicating high correlation and high equity beta. The linear look of the scatter plot shows that the covered calls behave primarily as equity exposure to the S&P, while the slight flattening in the top right shows the payoff cap imposed by the short call options embedded in our covered calls. In months where the market drops, the covered calls doesn't fall as much as the S&P, and the option premium helps cushion the loss. Overall, this shows the strategy that is both smooth and earns steady income, but gives up some of its upside when market rallies. Thank you.
My name is Kieran Hodgson, and I'll be taking over slide 10, looking over risk measures and comparisons. And so looking at the Sharpe ratios here, the converted call strategy clearly delivers the strongest risk-adjusted performance in both the risk-free and non-risk-free versions. So the reason is simple here, and that is that selling call options generate steady premium income, which in practice reduces volatility and soothes overall returns over time. And then moving on, if you look at beta and alpha, the story stays very consistent. The covered call has lower market sensitivity than the S&P 500. It's because selling calls naturally limits how much the portfolio moves with the market. And it produces positive alpha because option sellers can benefit from the volatility risk premium. And as that implied volatility is usually higher than realized volatility. So the strategy is able to earn that difference. If you look at the iron condor, it has a negative, and that's because of how it performs poorly with high volatility. And then for CalPERS, we're just going to look at three key takeaways here. And that's the covered call strategy offers the most efficient, stable, and consistent risk-adjusted returns. So we just saw. The second is that option strategies work extremely well when they're implemented transparently and with real oversight, unlike what we saw with Madoff. And third, that this strategy aligns really well with CalPERS fiduciary duty, providing predictable income, lower volatility, and resilience. So thank you.